In this video, I'll take you through and show you all the steps for getting remote access working on your Home Assistant. Hey guys, and welcome back to another video, and yes, we're finally doing it. We're finally covering the remote access install after much demand. There are a few videos out there detailing how to do the remote access install, but I'm seeing a ton of confusion still from people over how to do it, and so I thought I'd try and give you guys my input and hopefully clear up some of that confusion, or probably just add more to it. But I am a network and security engineer, so I do know just maybe a little bit about it, and hopefully I can try and make it a little bit easier for you. But really quickly, before we get into it, if you like this video and you want to see more videos just like it, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It's down there right next to the like button, and I will very much appreciate it. Also, if you're looking for an awesome community to join, have your questions answered, come and join us on Discord. I spend tons of my time over there answering your guys' questions about Home Assistant, home automation, Linux, networking, security, anything like that, and we have a great bunch of guys over there. We just hang out and talk tech. Link is in the description. You're welcome. Before we jump in and I show you the exact steps you're going to need to take, we need to talk about some key concepts and considerations that are going to make getting through this whole thing a lot easier. Strap yourself in, we have a lot to cover. First, let's talk about some requirements that you're going to need to know or have to make this guide work. And the first one is how to port forward on your router. Obviously, there are thousands of routers out there in the world, and there's no way I could be able to give you a guide on exactly how to do it on your exact router. It's just impossible. So making sure you have that basic information before we get started is going to be key to making this whole thing work. And don't worry if you don't know how to do it on your specific model. I'll share some resources with you a little bit later on how you can obtain that information. The next thing that is key is to make sure that you do not have a CG or a carrier grade NAT. I don't want to go too far into what a carrier grade NAT is because it's not what this video is about, and it can be a little bit confusing, but essentially it's a shared IP address between multiple people. If you have one of these, unfortunately this guide is not going to work for you. Finally, you're going to want to make sure that you have terminal or SSH access to the OS that Home Assistant is running on. Do not be that guy where you accidentally make a mistake and you lock yourself completely out of your instance. Do not be that guy. Making sure you have terminal or SSH access is key because if you make a mistake, it can be easily reverted using the terminal. Now let's talk about some of the options you have when it comes to remote access. Option number one is the one we're doing today, and that is where you port forward to your Home Assistant instance, and that makes it available externally on the internet. Option number two is a VPN tunnel, and this is technically the more secure version, but it's way less convenient than option number one. The reason it's less convenient is because every time you went outside of your network, you would have to manually start up a VPN session to your house, and only then would your Home Assistant be accessible. Like I say, it's technically more secure, but I don't think the inconvenience is worth that trade-off. Option number three is of course a Nabu Casa subscription, which makes setting up a remote access a breeze, and it can be done in just a couple of seconds. And if you don't want to go the route we're taking today, I would highly suggest that option because you're also supporting the developers of the amazing Home Assistant project. So I would highly consider doing that option if you haven't already. But for those of you who want to do option number one, which is what we're doing today, keep watching. There are other options for remote access. I could probably come up with another 10 weird and wonderful solutions, but those are the main three that you might consider, and as I say, option number one is the one we are doing today. The quick 30-second version of what we are doing today is we're going to set up DuckDNS, which is a free domain name provider. That domain name is then going to point towards your public IP address, and we then tell your router to port forward any requests incoming on port 8123 and 443 to your Home Assistant instance on port 8123. Those requests are going to be encrypted over HTTPS using a free certificate from LetsEncrypt. And depending on the hardware you have, we're also going to set up a seamless single URL that will work inside your network and outside of your network. Okay, let's get started. Head over to the DuckDNS.org website and then log in with one of the available providers. Once you're logged in, you're going to create a subdomain, and this can be anything you want as long as it's not already in use. Make sure to choose wisely though, because this is the URL that you're going to be using to connect to Home Assistant from now on. Once you've saved, it will automatically pull in the IP address that you are connecting to DuckDNS from into the box. You're going to want to change this IP address to 8.8.8.8 and hit the save button, and you'll see why we're doing this in just a few seconds. Whilst you're on this page, make sure to grab your token from the top because we're going to need it in the next step. So highlight that and copy. Next, you'll need to head to your router's webpage and configure a port forward. Like I mentioned earlier, I can't show you how to do this on every single router unless you're using pfSense. If you're struggling or you're not sure how to port forward, then head to Google and type in the model number of your router plus port forward, and I can almost guarantee you there will be a guide for your router. There is also another really good website called portforward.com, which lists hundreds of models in their database, and they have guides for almost every single model. And I really think this is a good resource, so if you're struggling to port forward, follow these guides. We are going to be port forwarding port 8123 and 443 on the TCP protocol to the Home Assistant instance, and I'll tell you why we're doing that in just a second. A lot of guides also claim that you need to port forward port 80 and also UDP, but you do not need to do this, so make sure it's just 8123 and 443 using TCP. In pfSense, head to Firewall, then NAT, and create a new NAT. Forward port 8123 on the TCP protocol to the IP address of your Home Assistant instance, and make sure the destination port is 8123. I'm also going to recommend repeating these steps and port forwarding port 443. So at the end you should have two port forwards, one for 8123 to 8123 and one for port 443 to 8123. Having both of these port forwards set up is going to help us with having a single URL. Port 8123 will be used for mobile apps in your desktop and will be used to connect straight to your Home Assistant instance, and having port 443 open is useful for services like Alexa and Google Home. If you don't plan to use either of those, then you can probably just disable the port 443 forward, leaving you with only 8123 set up. You can change the default port of Home Assistant from 8123 to port 443, and that makes the URL a little bit cleaner. However, I'm not recommending that here because I do see beginners getting confused and end up locking themselves out of Home Assistant. But definitely, if you're comfortable with doing that, then definitely go ahead and do so. Once your port forward is set up, we're going to head over to Home Assistant and then into the Supervisor Store. Inside the Supervisor Store, head over to Add-ons and then install the DuckDNS add-on. I'm going to recommend setting the options for the watchdog and auto start, and then head over to the configuration page, and in the tokens box you're going to want to paste in the token that we copied from the DuckDNS page earlier. Accept the LetsEncrypt terms of service by changing the value from false to true, and then to configure your domain you're going to want to enter your domain into the domains box, and this is the value that you created on DuckDNS earlier. Next, hit the start button for the add-on and then head over to the log page and keep spamming that refresh button. It may take a few minutes, but check for lines that tell you that your certificate has been generated and your IP address has been updated. Once that's done, you're going to head over to the DuckDNS page and refresh the page. In the box where the 8.8.8.8 was entered earlier, the IP address should now be replaced by your public IP address, and you know that everything has worked correctly. Head back to the add-on logs and then you're going to notice a few lines that tell us the location of our generated certificate. Head to your Home Assistant configuration and then we're going to add a couple of lines in for SSL certificate and SSL key. Your values should look identical to my ones unless it otherwise states in the add-on logs. Next, head to configuration, check your config as always, and then if you get a successful message you're going to want to restart. You need to be aware here that when you hit restart, the URL of your Home Assistant instance is going to change from the HTTP address that you have been using to HTTPS, and this is normal. It's also worth noting that you will get a certificate error at this point. The reason you're going to get a certificate error here is because when a certificate is generated, it's generated for a specific domain name only. And so because we're accessing it via an IP address or an internal domain name, the certificate isn't valid for those addresses, and so you get the certificate error. Our certificate has been signed for our DuckDNS domain name, and we aren't using that yet. Once you've restarted, give it a couple of minutes and then try to log into your Home Assistant instance. using the HTTPS URL instead of the HTTP one, and make sure you can still log in and everything is working apart from that certificate error. We're now just going to make sure that your port forward is working as expected. Head over to canyousseeme.org, and then in the box you're going to enter port 8123 and click enter. It should tell you that port 8123 is open. If it doesn't, make sure go back and check your port forward and make sure you haven't accidentally entered any wrong information. Repeat these steps for port 443 if you also opened that port. You need to make sure that this is working properly before you continue. Now finally, using a device that is not on your network, such as your phone, try and access your Home Assistant instance using the DuckDNS URL. If it works, then at this point we are in really good shape. Except we have that certificate error when we are accessing Home Assistant on our network, which is not ideal. So we're going to go ahead and fix that right now. Once again, the reason we're getting that certificate error is because our certificate is signed for our external URL and we are using an internal URL. The most ideal solution for this is to be able to use your DuckDNS URL for internal and external access. And when I say internal and external, I'm talking about being connected directly to your network versus not. Using the DuckDNS address for internal and external access is ideal, and that's what you should be aiming for. It's much nicer to just have one single URL to remember whether you're inside your network or outside of your network. I see people running Home Assistant with a different internal address compared to an outside address, and they have to change it, and that's horrible. Do not do that. We are aiming for a single seamless URL experience. However, the problem you may run into, and why a lot of users do not have a single URL, is because your router does not allow a hairpin NAT or a NAT loopback. Most modern routers will, or most good routers will. However, a lot of the ISP provided ones will not allow this. A hairpin NAT or a NAT loopback is a scenario where you're requesting an external or a public IP address that you are already located behind. And at a very simple level, the flow of traffic is having to go out to come back in, and a lot of routers do not like this. And that's why it's called a loopback NAT, is because it's going out and coming back in on itself. The way to test if your router supports this is by opening a command prompt and pinging your DuckDNS domain name, and it should return your public IP address. Then head over to your browser and enter HTTPS followed by your DuckDNS domain name and port 8123. If it loads and you do not get a certificate warning and the page loads, you are pretty much done and you have achieved that single URL goodness. If it doesn't load or you get a connection refused or some other warning, then it means your router does not support a NAT loopback. However, fear not, we have a few other tricks up our sleeve. You only need to do the following steps if your router does not support NAT loopback. And be aware we are going to be changing your router's forward DNS servers, so make sure you know how to and are comfortable with doing that. Oh, and for you more advanced users out there, if you're using pfSense or some other router that allows you to configure DNS records, go ahead and just create a DNS record that points your DuckDNS domain name to your internal IP address of your Home Assistant server. But for you more beginner users, what we're going to do is head over to Home Assistant and head over to the Supervisor Store. Head into the add-ons and then install the DNSMasq add-on. Before starting the add-on, head to Configuration and then add a new host and IP for the DuckDNS hostname. Essentially what this is doing is it's telling our DNS server to respond with the if it receives a DNS request for our DuckDNS hostname, it's going to reply with the internal address of our Home Assistant server rather than the public IP address. Notice under the defaults configuration, they're already pre-configured with the Google DNS servers. I would recommend leaving these as they are, but you can of course change these if you know what you're doing. Next, start the DNS add-on, and before we make any changes to our network, we're going to test that it's actually working. The last thing we need to do is break DNS when we are so close. Open a command prompt and we are going to query our DNS server directly by using NSLOOKUP to look up our DuckDNS domain name, which should return the internal IP address of our Home Assistant server. If it still returns the public IP address, then you have made a mistake in the configuration. Go back and make sure you have that set correctly. In the NSLOOKUP command, make sure to specify the IP address of the DNS server, which is our Home Assistant server, at the very end of the command. And that essentially tells NSLOOKUP which DNS server to query. You need to make sure that the internal address of our Home Assistant server is returned here. It's very important that that works. We are getting into the final couple of steps here, and you're going to need to head back to your router and into the configuration and change your router's primary DNS servers. You're going to want to copy the address that is currently in the primary DNS server into the secondary DNS server box, and then back in the primary DNS server box, you're going to enter the IP address of your Home Assistant server. Once you've done that, head back to your NS Lookup command prompt, and you're going to enter NS Lookup followed by your DuckDNS domain name, and you're not going to specify a server at the end this time. And what this will do is it will query your default DNS server, which should be your router. And this time it should return the IP address of your Home Assistant server. Once NS Lookup is returning the private IP address of your Home Assistant server, head over to the browser and enter HTTPS followed by your DuckDNS domain name and port 8123, and make sure that the page fully loads. If it does, you have now achieved that sweet single URL goodness, and you can now give everything a final test from inside your network and also outside your network, and you shouldn't get any certificate issues at any point, and both internal and external should be able to load the page with no problem. Once everything's working, one final thing you can do to round off everything we've done is to head over to the configuration menu in Home Assistant and scroll down to the general settings. Inside there, you're going to want to set the internal and external URLs to the DuckDNS domain names, making sure to specify your port numbers. Before we go, I feel it's my duty to talk to you a little bit about security, and I want you to just check off a few of these things and make sure you're not doing them. And the first one is to make sure you haven't got like every single port on your router forwarded to your Home Assistant instance. You only need port 443 and 8123 forwarded, and you only need them on the TCP protocol. You do not need to have TCP and UDP forwarded. If you have this, make sure to go back and just correct that mistake. The second one is I want you to set some decent passwords on this. It's all well and good when Home Assistant is just internal to your network and you just have like Lewis set as your password, but when you have it available externally, you really need to make sure that you are securing these with proper passwords. Also, I don't know why you would have my name as your password. The third one is a good one to have set once you have everything tested and working, and that is to enable the IP ban in the Home Assistant configuration. The IP ban will essentially only allow a certain amount of login attempts from a certain IP address, and once those login attempts have been reached, it will automatically blacklist that IP address. So it's a good feature to have on, but make sure that you have everything working as you intended before enabling it. It's also really simple to add. Head over to your Home Assistant configuration, and then underneath the SSL certificate and SSL key, add the IP ban enabled true and the login attempts threshold as well, and I usually set that to 5. That just gives me a little bit of breathing room if I forget my password for whatever reason. Next, head over to your configuration, check your config as always, and then restart. And there we go, we finally made it to the end of the video. If you're still watching at this point, I commend you. I am drained. This was a really long video. You forget when you're trying to explain it just how many steps there are. It's easy for somebody like me who's been doing this for like 20 years to overlook a lot of the steps, and I understand if you're coming in as a beginner, it's very difficult to understand what to do and where to go. So I hope this video helped. I hope I explained the steps enough. I hope I gave you enough information to explain what we were doing and why we were doing it, and I hope you have everything working as you would like it. But that's about all the time we have for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Please drop it a like down below if you liked it, hit subscribe, and if you're still stuck or you're not sure what to do next, please leave your comments down below. I will do my best to get back to you, or if you really need help, make sure to join the Discord server, link in the description down below. But thank you so much for watching this video. As always, thank you for liking, thank you for subscribing, and I will see you in the next video. Pew!